Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream here on my channel. Today we are doing a nice little infantry only event. I am absolutely freaking hammered, but we are going to have a fun event in front of us as we do have Carentan Town Center as the midpoint for this infantry only event. So there will be no artillery, no tanks. I have no idea about any Rocketeers or anything like that, but we will get underway. So the town center point will be the midpoint for this match, as pumping station and customs as offset points with 502nd and canal locks as the offset fifth and final points for each side and faction. Underway, and everybody does muster. I think we are missing some people, so if you are interested in participating in this event, a password in the server will be pinned in the chat log in the live description. It is the TPL US East 1, and the password is TPL all undercase 45, all one word. And I'll put that in. I am actually not gonna put that in the chat. You have to go back and find that out, but are underway as well, as we do have some fancy little things, as we do have this little thing, and I'm only using LGN and R22R so we can actually get these live concurrent stats for the top 10 killers on each team, as you do see on screen. Hopefully it does work throughout the match, as the ticker on the bottom does showcase. I'm not sure who commanding, so we have Liberju on the Axis side, or the Allied side, and should train the leaders. And for the allies, it does look like we have Chudmander. Looks like some sort of new formation of Charmander or Charmeleon or Charizard. I have no idea, but I do wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Otherwise, kind of a Thanksgiving-ish special. It is Blackout Wednesday. I am totally blacked out, as a matter of fact, but nonetheless, we should have a nice little match here. Infantry only, focusing on fragging ability for each of these teams. Nodes are not really built whatsoever. It's kind of typical that teams build nodes in the HQ. Looks like we do have the top set. And the mid section is Falsely. Looks like Falsely is building her last node, just looking for that final fuel node. Not that we really need fuel nodes unless we're doing half tracks, as well as Hero wondering where the fuck his last and final node is. But we are underway. I have no idea if we are having any rocket snipes. Looks like we do have Donnie and Roth, just looks like running to the point themselves, as well as we do have Tyzaka in the water right now. As a few people on top. Have Divinity, of course, trying to find his bush. Looks like we do maybe have some rocket snipes. I don't know why the hell people are rocket sniping in an infantry only event, but that is the case currently in this match. But are up and running. Do have a nice little truck layout for each teams. No extra truck spawn, no tanks at all, as well as no artillery. We do have one person in HQ completely lost. Looks like a Bear Zerker, as the Axis truck is going in. And just let you guys know, this is not Legion versus R22R. This is not a Division 1 team versus a Division 3 team. This is just a random mix-up. I'm just doing this purely for what the hell is going on. Mahojo driving the truck might be as drunk as me. Not driving to the hard camp, which is a little bit surprising, to be completely honest, but I don't think either team is driving down the main lane of this triangle. Getting into the hard camp of Town Center, Mahojo did drive the truck down there. Battle for the midpoint has commenced. You have Senpai and GoPits leading the charge for both respective sides. Trucks do blow up in the background, as you did here. That is coming through nice and clean. I have no idea how this is going to go, but are happening as the allies do take that 5-0 advantage as far as kills. But plenty of time for them to get as many frags as possible. So early advantage going to the Axis, which you kind of do expect, honestly, on Town Center. Axis, I think, is a little bit favored for the cap. You take a look at the map from both sides off the opener axis. A little bit more heavy towards the church side of things, as you see on screen right now. And it's kind of typical that the Axis do, as Cornbread Fred does fall through the map and will redeploy ASAP. Hope you too close to some sort of building structure. Go towards the church field. Roller. Quebecer. Quebecer does somehow shoot him through the corner of the structure. This satchel does blow up onto the church. Black will lead the charge to the church. Church, very critical point for SME. For the Carentan Church. I don't know why I said SME. Playing too much St. Marie Dumont lately. Debbie does get one kill. Missing her shots. Bloomfield and Sin. He does get one. Inside the church. Goes inside the church. Not realize Bloomfield is covering her. Bloomfield, for some reason, randomly knifes in the midair. Will come back up as Bloomfield does pop a grenade. Remember, for the American grenades, you cannot cook them as much as you can for the Germans. Does go down to Savvy yet again. Savvy, good job holding on the church. Bloomfield, Libby 1, and a few others for the Allies. Still around the area, still contesting it, and actually gaining a little bit of control, but the hard cap itself fully under control of the Axis. Look at the kill count, pretty even for the time being. I think after the first 10 minutes, I will kind of show the top killers for the first 10 minutes. Pretty much of the opener. I would say the first 10 minutes is pretty much the opener, even if you do cap in the first, I would say, 6 or so minutes. The hard cap pretty much fully under control of the Axis. Gonna switch to a 2-3 score. Hopefully the ticker does update on the bottom eventually. No idea if it will. I'm not gonna change it, so maybe it does. I have no idea. I don't really care. But anyways, moving on. Not completely on. Back over here to the church. Allies. That church. Warlock. Top the roof. Does take care of Savvy. Is trying to pick off cool Lucas, Shuka, and Lincoln, but does get picked off himself from it. Seems to be, I think, cool. I'm not entirely sure who actually picked him off. But the church side of things for the north side of Carentan Town Center, very, very critical for each team. More so for the Allies than the Axis. You get multiple ways of avenue to the mid cap, to the hard cap. To the actual stats for the time being. Looks like GPL is leading it for the time being for the Allies, and for the Axis, like Roy Jenks. Self, I think that's 9 kills. I can't really tell. It's very, very small. Yes, it looks self, but that'll probably be updated throughout the game that we do check. I'm probably gonna check that maybe 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many times. Probably multiple times, to be completely honest, because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about. But we do look at the map. Obviously, pumping station is the 4th point for Allies that both teams are trying to send and or attack. I'm squad lead. the TT Chopper. I'm not quite sure who he from. It is being slightly contested. Sonic and Spectre are trying to find each other. Looks to be a recon squad lead. Placing his OP for in a move for his sniper. Sonic will take him down. Probably spots the garrison. 2 more do spawn on top of that garrison. Anti-Day Frank and Minimal Moon. Monic missing the shots, does get one, and will get the second player, and will indeed go towards that garrison. That is a critical garrison that he is going to dismantle. Obviously, there's going to be no graveyard run from the commander, as it is a very fast dismantle. We'll get the supplies as well, so good play there from Demonic, Jesus Christ. I'm going to be pronouncing people's names pretty wrong throughout this entire stream, but, you know, that is what it is, and I really don't care. To the hard cap, lockdown, and Senpai trying to advance, but does get taken out from 2 Axis players. Satchel is down from lockdown. At least might take out Verbal. Cause a little bit of chaos, or Satchel does go off, does cause maybe a little bit of chaos for the Axis. Going and then hope my daughter never brings it to me. Jesus Christ. I have no comment on that. NN or NA. I don't know why I called you NN. Is but we gotta see pretty much the entirety of the map, apart from the gate line, is being used from both teams. Trying to gain ground from either side. Looks like allies do have a little bit of a nice little shape going into town center. That's honestly what you typically see from any sort of, you know, competitive, you know, normal comp game. Obviously, this is infantry only. Oh, no tanks and no artillery will play into effect, but it's also Carentan town center, so it's more so infantry fragging than arty and tank play. Obviously, those do play into effect, especially in this game. Do some first-person cam POV. I can try to do that. I actually don't know the exact settings. This will go with a bomb, I guess. I have no idea. Put a bomb. He's aiming at fucking something. Trying to kill Libby. Trying to kill Bearju. Don't know who Bomb is or who you play for, but we are watching you for the time being, sir. God, T17 really needs to update their POV cam because this is awful. Maybe he disconnected because he's just kind of walking. I think he DC. Pretty sure Bomb DC, ladies and gentlemen. I think he did DC as he does get blown up by the bomb and run. Fuller will advance onto him, so that is the death of Bomb. So that is a very comedic timing, but we'll go on board with Teku. If I can go on board with Teku, as he misses a lot of shots going against Munchy Squirrel. More shots, probably only has 2 or 3 shots in his magazine for the M1 Grand. Not decide to reload. Squirrel misses shots himself. Reload. Squirrel using the STG, but gets one popped by the M1 Grand, but will get shot down by another STG from Verbal Predation or wherever hell you call yourself. Wish people would call themselves a little bit easier names. We do have, what the hell is going on over here? Well, another person DC. Well, I guess this might be the curse of the TPL servers, as many people do say so themselves in the league chat. Anyways, it might be themselves connection, as maybe you're based on US West. Sometimes you do actually disconnect based on region. It's really dumb. Lucky do battle, but Lay Dump will get that kill. As Arrow and Big Tom try to get the refrag, is being thrown out by Arrow. But a satchel will clean them all up. That's... Looking at the map again. Looks like we do have an airhead. Not quite sure whose airhead this actually is, to be completely honest. If it is a Axis or Allied airhead. I'm really not quite sure whose airhead this is. I assume it is an Allied. 1SL for the Axis is locking it out currently in some smoke. JPL is running by. Will kill that SL, and that will free the airhead, so it is an Allied airhead inside, well, just outside the hard cap, I should say. Does get some kills with that grease gun, gets another one for himself. AMAC watching that door with Bates. Bates will get a kill. JPL hops over the corner, does get the kill, but Tennessee or Juka will get the refrag. Cornbread Fred will lock down that door. Juka throws another grenade. Don't think Cornbread Fred will be dead to that grenade. It's our toss in the battle for these northern garden areas. This open area, I would say. Test it over. He gets 2 for himself. Warlock in the corner. Shut down by Warlock. And this is kind of honestly what Carentan fighting is pretty much all about, is, you know, the battle of like multiple squads in a certain area. The underhand grenade is thrown by Lincoln. Probably wisely backs up. Does take out Lincoln himself, but multiple do spawn off the inside ball on the map. Oh my god. Oh, that's the glories. Honestly, that's a map issue because if you do not, for those of you who don't understand like spawn mechanics in this game, that is actually a map and a game issue. It's not a server issue. It kind of is a server issue to some degree. It's actually more so of a game issue because it does happen on multiple maps, where if you place a spawn pretty much against the wall, and if I think it's like 30 plus I think it's like 30% and over, or I forget what it is, but like if 30% of the spawn is pretty much blocked out by an unkillable area, it actually could spawn you outside of the map. And you know, with, you know, I would say 2/5 of that spawning outside of the map, you basically just fall under it, and that's basically what happened. That's why sometimes you get spawned inside of an area you can't get out of, or you spawn under the map. So it's kind of more of a map issue that or a game issue that I've saw or have seen more than an actual server issue. So just to kind of clarify that kind of thing. But looking at the map once again. Oh, nothing really too much happening in that pump station. Axis garrisons, not too bad. Just 4 safety garrisons as a safety net, but only 1 launch garrison at town center, which is odd. But at the same time, it's infantry only, so probably not a lot of people building garrisons themselves. On board with Mahojo. Never mind, he is absolutely dead by Edgy Mc something. I have no idea. I guess we'll go on with Goat Piss, as we have absolutely nothing because he has gloves on. And if you have gloves on, apparently you cannot view each other. So we'll go on with Skeeter. Never mind, Skeeter's just gonna die to a satchel. Actually, everybody's dead to a satchel. Maybe we'll go on board with Mahojo. Maybe we will go on board with Mahojo. Board with Mahojo as we do check some of the stats for this match. JPL still leading the Allied side. 25 kills for himself with Skeeter and Spartan right behind him. Then for the Axis side of things, we do have Libby, Lopez, and Leroy as the top 3. So Axis overall, still winning that kill count, but it's only by 3 current kills. Hojo does get taken out as the battle for this Southern Gardens, as I like to call it, still underway. Chopper will pop a flare. I feel like flare should be banned in this mode, but that's what it is. But if he does get that flare, well, it looks like the flare said no. I guess we can't see flares, says the other team. I have no idea. Oh, a nice rocket there from Skeeter. We'll get 2 kills with the grenade. So FU yet again. Looks like the Allies have kind of gone a little bit wider than they were. Looks like the full map from north to south is being used. As about, 10 minutes ago or so, our 8 line was pretty much vacant, but there is a few bodies in the sector. We'll get the better of that action. Up in the north here, where 2 separate squads and a sniper are kind of battling it out for the defense. Like a lot of the 7th Cav players are designated defensive players. Honestly, this is probably one of the most fun sections to fight over, is this DE3 line right here where both teams are fighting. It's honestly one of my favorite points to or areas of the map to fight over on Carentan. So many places for either team to kind of be and hold. Typical garrison layouts for either team. Kind of playing it picture perfect for the time being. Not a lot of movement currently happening. Trying to make sure each team gets their slight advantage here and there. The Allies are starting to capture Town Center, as they actually do control the hard cap of Town Center, and that's probably going to force a lot of the Axis to flood in from the north and the south. It's pretty much all hard cap that they are contesting with. But if they do win their frag battles for the next, I would say 30 seconds, could gain some ground in some key areas for their other allied quads, I should say. Bryce, I am absolutely cooking the stream. Does come down, does get 1. I do believe, but I think that will probably be it, unless Lockdown and Zod do get taken out, but it does not look like they do. That's kind of what you do need to take Town Center, is to win those key fragging engagements in the hard cap when you do start getting that cap pressure. That is the essential key that you need to do on Carentan in general, is just win the frag battle. I mean, anything that could be said for any sort of map or situation, but Carentan Town Center is especially, I would say, the most important for winning key frag engagements for about like 30 seconds to a minute. Like, if you're on top of that by 2 to 1 or 30 seconds to a minute, and you're in the hard cap doing that, you are doing a really good job. You're actually gaining ground by just holding ground. I think that's something that a lot of teams don't really realize. Like, if you're capping the point, you're getting kills consistently and staying alive, you you are actually gaining ground in other areas because you're forcing the team to, you know, send, you know, 5 guys back, 10 guys back, 15 guys back. And the next thing you know, like, a third of the team spawns back. And then when that happens, you gain ground in key areas that you do need to actually capture. But fortunately, find me the campers. I mean, Carentan's really hard for campers. Looks like L Squad, Daybreak. Drive some sort of truck all the way around the map. For as far as campers, you know, this map really doesn't give a lot. Like if, you know, it was like in the north or possibly in the south instead of town center. You know, trains, as someone flies up in the air. Look at that. Dang. If it actually was like the, if it was Canal Crossing or I think train station this is or whatever, train crossing, I have no idea what it's called. There would be a lot more people, I would say, posting up, especially on the borders, but you know, as far as town center, you really can't camp. Maybe for the Axis, you kind of can. I don't know. Maybe we'll look at Derju if he camps, as he has gloves on, so we're not gonna watch him. We'll watch Solar. Never mind, he has gloves on too. I don't know why he does that. Let's watch Mahojo, since he's like seeming to be the most normal person of the bunch so far. Does pop shuffles as the admin cam view is still cooked and chalked for the most part. I sit back and sip my my cocktail. As Mahojo is seemingly shooting through a window frame. But that is definitely not what he is seeing, because that'd be just shooting randomly through a window frame. It's definitely off by like a little bit. I wish it was kind of like Rainbow Six Siege observer mode. Oh, Joe's gonna get satcheled here in a sec. What Mahojo's doing, trying to sound hear people out. Let's hear people below him, but will Curve does see, I guess, Skeeter. Does take out Skeeter. Takes out Spartan. 2 quick kills for Mahojo. Did see Teku there about 10 seconds ago, but him now. Easy OP. Will take the OP. Nice grenade there from Mahojo. Make sure no one spawns on there. We'll check his right side. We'll take out one more. So good hold here from Mahojo, just holding up this 3-story house on the top floor. And you can kind of see, like, from the other side where Spartan just died, multiple people from the Axis are starting to move up, as you can see on the map. The Mahojo's presence here actually kind of like collapsing these 2 OPs into one from his, you know, 5-6 kill streak that he is currently on. Does try to kick down, lock down Skeeter and Constantine. All players from the 6, so lots of good players from both for the Axis and the Allies. Don't know what I'm saying. I might get clipped multiple times in the stream. I have no idea, as Libby does get shut down by Aizu. Mojo's still gonna lock down that house. Ooh, him away. Just a key house. He is currently in. It's not necessarily camping, to be completely honest. It's a power position. I think that's more so of a power position than, I guess, camping. You can kind of see in the kill feed that, like, you know, a 40 kill advantage in an infantry only event. You know, you're starting to lean towards more the Axis at this point. Pumping station, I don't think the Axis will get. I think this is the hardest point to capture as the Axis, in my personal opinion. If it was ruins, the Allies would be in a whole hell of a lot of trouble. Obviously, they can push more towards town center a lot more efficiently and easily, but they can lose it just as easily. But still over an hour to be played. It looks like there is some sort of break in the line a little bit for the Axis as top tier guy and his squad start to make their way towards the church. Not quite sure. Are either team using mines? I don't know if we can see mines on here. For some reason, we have an AT mine and an AP mine in the factory. That's pretty much it. Random AT mine here. Don't know why we're using AT mines in a infantry only event. Looks like another half track is on its way. So third and final half track for the Allies is out and running. No half tracks for the Axis. That could spell disaster, especially at customs, because they have nothing at custom. But the Allies actually do get something going and do manage to capture town center point. He could be in a whole lot of trouble with a possible double flip. That has yet to come. Fucking Snoochie. Laying down with the MG. Honestly, not a bad position for Snoochie to be in, but he will get cut down by Za. Either team not trying to get wrapped around. F squad OP being very key for the Axis for the time being, to be completely honest with you. Not quite sure why this half track is here at Pump Station, but you know something I do not. Dude, I am absolutely hammered right now. So, all right, we're gonna go to the kill counter, see where everybody's at. JPL still leading it for the Allied side. Again, we're just using Legion R22R for the memes, with Skeeter, Edgy, Spartan, and Quilt for the top 5. Yes, I can go on side, or I can out of the table. Yeah, I can go on to the other few sides of the table as well in case you want to see your name out here. So we're kind of exposing everyone's KDR for the time being. I honestly really do not care. So it looks like we only have 41 for the Allies, which is a little bit unfortunate if you do ask me. I just not want to update. And for the Allied side, Libby, Mojo, Gopis, Lincoln, and Will Scott leading for Axis side of other players in the lobby. I also do want to see somewhat even. It is 100% not even. The Allies are missing a few players themselves. Indeed, missing players themselves. But you know, it is what it is. Actually, I do want to... I think the Allies are missing about 7 or 8 players, which is a massive difference. So hopefully maybe someone recognizes that. Or if you are to join this game, is the server on console TPL USE 1. If you just type that in, it will be the server with probably 90 plus players. Password are available and ready to join. With about 50 minutes to go, please do so, because the Allies desperately need your help, as the finally ticker did update at the bottom of the screen. But kills pretty even, give or take 30 or so kills. So the Allies, despite being down a few players themselves, are still in this fight. They are winning the frag engagements, but the unfortunate thing is they are losing, I think, the squad engagement. And that's kind of the key thing. Like, yes, you might be getting, you know, the, I guess, 3 to 4 ratio, but that, you know, that last person that you need to kill is the one cleaning up your entire squad. Whether it be 1 to 2 kills is currently the difference in this match. And it's infantry only, as Corey does hop over the wall, but does get taken out by Juka. We do have a random half-track here from Leberju, trying to get something going offensively for his team. This is a cheeky little spot, not typical where you think a half-track will be, but could play into their advantage to start flooding some more people into the Northern Gardens and possibly the hard cap, because honestly, if you think about Carentan, especially with infantry only, there's no tanks watching this main road of town center, so you can kind of, you know, stuff this main road where Corey, Cornbread, and AMAC are currently at, fighting Mohojo and Gopis, as Corey brings out the flamethrower, will get 1 kill as he does go on fire inside the house. Still running around on fire. And I think he does get disconnected from the lobby, running into the wall. He does continue running into the wall, into the gutter frame. We go on board with him. He will disappear. Unfortunately, the flamethrower Corey will not continue his flamethrower kill streak. What does happen as the allies will start kind of getting a little bit of cap pressure, but Hubs does subside. More allies do kind of fall back to the hard cap. Currently is happening in most random trick run of the match so far. Just trying to pick off 1 or 2 bodies. Unfortunately, for the map of Carentan, it is virtually impossible. Half-track sounds like it is on, but it is currently off. Don't know why it's making that sound. Also don't know why there is a gold 6 or 9 on it. There's some sort of lore that is attached to the half-track painted number. Please say so in the comments or the live chat, as I have no idea. But Lincoln hopping over does get 1 with Wampin, does get 2, does get 3. Looking for multiple more, but does get picked off there by Looter. But I think does get that ping onto the half track. Nice little kill streak there from him. Do have a bomber run coming in over that half track, so half track most likely going to get blown up. We did look up here in the north by Canal Crossing. Allies dedicating a lot of bodies in this north. You know, basically 2 squads were just to battle 1 squad and a garrison. Quite sure if that is worth it, but you know, it is better safe than sorry. You know, still plenty of time for them to mount something up, but if they do honestly take out this F squad and this garrison, they pretty much control all of E and F3, and that is a very big going into the final, you know, 50-45 minutes or so. That half track does get blown up there. Hunky Jr., the sole survivor around that half track. That is going to open up the door for the Axis. Bunch of areas that the Axis can utilize. Kind of a little bit of a panorama type of view. While holding different angles as I do kind of, you know, Go inside the houses. With armor, it's a little bit more tactical. It's a little bit more... I think you gotta play a little bit slower. You are playing infantry only. It's not quite as fast-paced. You gotta play a little bit slower, you know. Even if you get, like, you know, 2 or 3 kills at a time, you know, their OP still could be up for, you know, 20, 30 meters behind that. You gotta play a little bit slower. You might have to kill them, you know, 3 or 4 times before you actually do destroy that OP, because it is infantry. A lot more easier, or a lot more common, I guess, to get, you know, crossfired from multiple angles. Tanks as often, and Stabby does get shut down by a JPL. I'm not sure if JPL knows that there is an OP. I think he might have wiped it. He is going to place some AP mines. Just to make sure that if you lose this area, or if they do get pressured, you have some sort of, you know, recovery defense. Starting to move up. JPL placing more mines. JPL probably placing the satchel. This is his shotgun shot. JPL. Although Lucas does get taken out by AMAC with the MG. JPL kind of foregoing his mines and will place a 30-second satchel. Does get taken out by Tennessee. About 20 seconds or so. Satchel from JPL will blow up and take out Tennessee if he does remain in the area. I think he does hurt. I think he did hear the satchel. Look like it will get a kill, but will confirm a kill on Tennessee. So nicely, JPL hold off that corner as Libby does go in, but does get shut down by lockdown. The map, it looks like it's a little bit more bulging for the Axis, just kind of making a little bit of a bulge around town center. Typically what you see in any sort of comp game. Obviously there is no tanks to play. Go back up here in the back lines where Tank Frank and Quilt are battling Shocker and Will Scott. Other Axis players. Not be the most exciting gunfights, but they are still very important. Tank Frank does miss the shots, but will confirm at least 1 kill. The _1 will spawn off as Rifleman for the Allies. Not sure why you're playing Rifleman as Allies. Literally anything else is better unless you are having the 4-speed grease gun. And more Riflemen do spawn off this OP, so not quite sure why Riflemen are spawning off this OP unless you're doing a squad swap OP. But I know these get some sort of presence up here in the north. Are trying to collapse onto pumping station. Pumping station is being contested, but it is pretty much all from the D3 sector from that garrison contest. And down in the south, probably not have given the south a lot of love by the train station. Looks like a lot of MSU and R2R players for the Allies battling it out against a variety of other players down here. Not quite familiar with some of these names. You are some of these names down here around the 45-minute mark. I do apologize, I've not met you if you are on the Axis side of things. I just know that Napkin, Lockdown, Hero, Helmet, all part of MSU 6 and R22. But looks like it's been pretty even fighting down here, maybe a little bit more towards the Allies than the Axis. You know, it's just pretty much, you know, a 6v6, 7v7 down here in the south, so not a lot of ground gain or lost, honestly, from each team. It's kind of like a back or forth game down here at train station. North side of things, of the train station side of things. Virtue, Libby, and Riley just kind of holding this little alleyway. Mostly Virtue and Riley, or and Libby, but tough going. Surprised to see not any sort of airhead, you know, back up in here in the north. But, you know, it is covered by a bunch of OPs. No distraction back. A little bit surprising. Boulevard here with Lucas from the PF, as will get absolutely no things, but he does have the STG. Not sure what he's hopping onto or what he is currently staring at, but I think he's oh, he places a satchel inside this place. Does place a satchel inside this two-story house. We'll get edgy after getting one, gets another one onto Cornbread. But will blow up from an enemy satchel. Or possibly a friendly one. I am not entirely sure. Satchel did go off and blow up. Quite sure if his is still up and running. I assume it probably. I don't think satchels blow up other satchels. I guess they do. Oh, yes they do. I did not know that. I thought they didn't do that. Maybe they do. I have no idea. I don't know why you guys are listening to me. Oh my god, it's gonna be a rough morning tomorrow morning. Jesus Christ. Anyways. Game. Very even fighting. I'm pretty sure we do have still a disadvantage on the Allied side of things. Bring up these stats right now for the Allies. As JPL is still leading the way. Edgy, Skeeter, Hero, and Quilt still at that top 5 spots. And for the Axis, looks like Donnie taking that. I don't think that's accurate whatsoever because that is definitely the last spot in. So I'll get that right now with Libby, Gopis, and Lincoln taking those top 5 spots. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm just gonna double check. Hey, for the Allies, possibly might need some fill-ins for the fifth. It looks like Allies do have 45 players. The Axis apparently have 48. So if you are still wanting to get into this lobby in the last 30 minutes of this match, the password is, or the server is TPL US East 1 on console. Password TPL45. I would suggest joining the Allied team just to help them out a little bit as far as numbers go. But if you don't and you are busy, yeah, thank you. Deku. Slightly getting into the hard cap. Did place his OP. He is lighting 2 of them up at the moment. But does get taken out by Bearju. A little bit of a misplay there from Teku. He just stays alive and places in town center. You can call a quad swap to his OP just to get some cap weights into the hard cap. Kind of start to condense the Axis, but third side of things looking good for the Allies, but they are starting to lose 5th and final, or the 4th point, but that's all the garrison in the north from La Bubba. Multiple people do spawn on top of this OP as Divinity gets one, gets two, but does get taken out by Teku. Edgy will try to protect the OP, and Dusty Nug does get that OP. Let's get taken out by Edgy. Teku probably gonna have to replace his OP, and yes, he does replace his OP. So OP is moving up for the allies from the north as they kind of have this little bit of a gap here in the 4 line, starting to collapse down. They do pretty much have full church control. They just don't have anything on the front door, and that's the main problem right now for the allies. No front door control. They kind of just left it all vacant, but they can, you know, start to advance from the north. And honestly, that's the way you have to push this point, is from the north. If you kind of push it from the south, you only have, you know, 2 ways of approach, and those can be locked down very easily. The north is a little bit more chaotic. I'm not too shocked that the allies are currently capping this. Are starting to flood into the hard cap. Lucas, Libby, Cool, and Savvy off of this OP are going to be very, very critical. The Spectre and Shark get 2 quick kills. Cool mission shots with the MP40. Shark gets 1 kill. Does run into Tennessee. Get refragged. If he does place a mine, so this could be mine. I'm not.
Swashed.
Martin does say swashed, whatever that means. As multiple do spawn in the bush from Juka's OP. Spectre probably throwing some grenades as the camp is nearing 50%. Bomber Run Airhead is coming down. Not quite sure whose airhead this is. I assume it is an Axis Bomber Run. Does get at least 1 player that we do see on screen. Just over 50% now, and most of the garrison on point is gone, so it's just, you know, 2 blue zone garrisons that they can utilize, and maybe 1 or 2 backups help defend this point, and obviously some OPs. So I do expect a pretty big reset, big spawn waves to come on these OPs and garrison. As a random P strike does come down onto the hard cap. I'm not quite sure whose that was, but that was a absolutely terrible P strike. Don't know where that was going. I'm gonna be completely honest with you on that one. Don't know what that was doing. Confirm does come in and will clutch this 1 player on screen, as defense will start for the Axis. Airhead is down. Not quite sure if it is a Axis airhead or not, as a mine does get 1 player. Not watching that airhead, and it is a friendly airhead, as Napkin of Death does fall through the map, so it is an allied airhead. Does touch down, and a few bodies do come up. A fucking mine. Oh my god, a mine does kill 1 player off the airhead, but does flip the cap towards the allies. So the allies, for the first time of this match, do manage to cap the midpoint. Kind of see the kills pretty much fairly even, just within 26 kills of each other. And you kind of did see that kill disparity over the last, I would say, 15-20 minutes, as more people do spawn on the airhead, fall through the map, because Bearju does not know how to place airheads not far away from a wall structure. But I think you did see over the last 20 minutes that kill disparity start to go more towards the allied favor. Obviously, it's not quite in the full allied favor. The Axis still do have a 30 kill advantage or so, but it slightly have been, you know, teetering in their favor, at least evening out. As Spectre, dude, every time someone falls through the map, it is hilarious. This airhead spot has been absolutely cursed this entire game, but as you can see, OPs go up. At least, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 OPs, 5 OPs do go up for recap potential, but it's a little bit too little too late. Allies start to make their way in. I think this is a little bit harder for the Axis to capture back than the Allies, if I'm being completely honest with you. Axis do have a lot more avenues that they can use, but it's also, I think, more easily shut down than the Allies can. A lot more long corridors. But they do actually have this Southern Gardens corridor control for some reason. I'm not quite sure how this, you know, kind of happened. You kind of expect that these guys to collapse back up north towards the blue line, but Riley's squad, you know, doing a good job just pulling on this line. I cannot wait to go to bed later because I am absolutely cooked as the Axis do start to cap back. One garrison in the north, absolutely no garrisons elsewhere. Some random half-track in the south. Oh my god. Random half-track in the south. Solar getting 2 quick kills with that SCG into the hard cap. Hard cap pretty much all under control of the Axis. Everyone just spawning in the north on this garrison. And all the Allies need to do is kind of just collapse back onto the hard cap. If they just get, you know, 5 trades here and there, they should be a-okay. But I don't think they have anybody in the hard cap. Airhead coming down for the Axis. Nice little airhead here in the canal. I'd honestly prefer it back over here at town center. Reinforce is down for the Allies. Baked and Lincoln, nice little spots. I do love these spots from both these players. Recognizing that they pretty much have this 2-story control. They don't need to go into it. Just need to hold down this lane of approach. Should be a nice, quick and easy Allies or Axis recap. As the Allies probably going to try to spawn on this garrison. Only 4 people? 5 people spawn on this garrison? I feel like they're a tad too spread out as Bomber does come down onto the hard cap. But again, no one on the hard cap for the Allies, as the cap will flip back into the favor of the Axis. The ticker just didn't even switch because they knew what the result was going to be anyways. Bottom does not wipe up the airhead or the garrison that Riley just placed. The Axis do recover quite nicely. Just a little bit of a misplay there from the Allies, just not securing the actual hard cap itself. OPs do get reestablished and are up and running, but a little bit of a major misplay, and now we are kind of on the full pub lobby aspect of the game, where both teams, you know, recap and cap the midpoint within like a 7-minute time window. When that does happen, everybody's just kind of like chaotically just everywhere, as you just map. Just absolutely no uniform whatsoever. There's no line, which you love to see. It's just like bleh, everywhere. Random garrison in the south for whatever reason from the Axis, but well, they are cooking up something in the south. Go on board with Goose. If I do, I can lock onto him. We'll just go in third person, see what he does and what his mindset is. He is an engineer. Does place down a mine. Mine game. Always strong with people. He will place another one. We'll continue on running forward. As he dies from behind. Looks like Libby and Shark are starting to get a recap, so it looks like we do have another recap opportunity here from the allies. The shark does get a second or third kill. Only a few bodies do spawn out the garrison. Solar. And a lot of key frags in this town center hard cap area. Backside. The airhead did land for the Axis. Warlock will get a shot onto an AP mine. You gotta think Riki does know as it does get cut down. He does not wipe out an OP. Oh, and huge frags from somebody. Taking out 3 players with some frag grenades. OP does get taken out from that frag, but 2 people do spawn on top of it. The hard cap is kind of secured for the time being. Carentan does come in, does collect these 1 or 2 bodies. Grenades still flying into the hard cap of the southern side of the garden's hard cap. Will collect 1 kill for himself. Will P-Strike comes in and Goose apparently just absolutely just decimates from a P-Strike that was 20 meters in front of him. Garrison still good as gold. That's on top of it. Oh, I do love this fighting. This is some of the most fun fighting in the game as far as pub lobbies. I don't know who the hell joined my Discord call, but I am absolutely leaving that. I am leaving that. Who joined that? Fucking grunt. Oh, man. I don't know why I joined that. You guys definitely heard that too. Oh, man. I only know like 7 people are watching this right now, but I don't give a fuck, dude. It was fucking stupid. Alright, in the north here. Random satchel blows up here in the north, probably taking out this blue line garrison. Nothing too much to really comment as far as red line pressure from the Axis. Lots of southern side pressure from the allies. Very, very odd. The Axis have to be wondering where the hell all these allies are coming from there, because they're kind of coming through front door, but not really. As more people do spawn onto the hard camp, this is the perfect time to be using a bombing run. This corridor, I'm very surprised no one's using smoke. Lincoln, smart play, putting a satchel. Oh, never mind, we'll be throwing a underhand grenade. Goose will be placing a satchel on to the corner of that doorway. Should collect a few bodies for himself if they do continue to push through that doorway. GPL might be doing the exact same thing. Yep, GPL doing the exact same thing. Satchel will blow up. Will blow up his own satchel. No, unfortunately, you cannot throw your satchels in the game of Hella Loose. That is not a thing. Ain't no whatsoever. Ooh, nice rocket there. I'm not sure who got that rocket. The Corey. A few players inside of that building. But we'll look at the stats. Probably look at this one more time. I do update this scoreboard as JPL leading it with 56 kills. I honestly don't think that's accurate at this point in time. Maybe it is. I have no idea. Maybe it is. I'm not entirely sure, but fading this to the top killers. Libby with 71 for himself on the side of things, so top frags seem to be on the Axis side, and that's kind of what you are seeing for the moment. And it's kind of like, honestly, like probably the difference in this game. The top frags being on one side of the ball. I'm trying to pronounce words, but I am not okay. Sorry, Wick. It's okay, Grunt. I don't care. I just feel awkward as hell talking to myself with someone else listening in the background. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's all in good fun. You want your teammate JPL make a play, right? Do a JPL. JPL did not make a play. He just absolutely blew up and shot 40 feet backward. But those are things that happen. Things that do quite indeed happen. Warlock and Lincoln. Satchel is down for a Warlock. Satchel could be heard from Warlock. White hears it, maybe he does, and will run away. Will place a mine. Maybe randomly places a mine right there. I'm not quite sure the exact placement on that mine. I think he just killed himself with his own mine because... Yeah, I think he just killed himself with his own mine. Yep. Yep, I think that's what just happened. I have no idea. Anyways, 23 minutes to go. Few cap flips here and there. Libby and Edgy making it their way to the southern side of the hard cap. Garrison did get eliminated. Don't think they do have one currently down and up and running. The Axis. Ooh, nice two-piece there from Edgy. Rocket does come out. Not quite sure if it does wipe the DOP. It does not look like it does. DOP is still up and running, and yes, it is. One battles a whole bunch of Axis. He does get 2, gets 3, and he gets some more. And he possibly get Hickory. Does get Hickory with another 4th kill. For Jenkins coming up, would be the next victim, and he will not, as they both miss some shots. But Leroy Jenkins will get that final killing blow. Hard cap will be fully defended now for the Axis. Going back up here in the north, just this random fight up here with like 5 guys on each team, 4 guys on each team, just trying to gain a little bit of ground. Each team just not making sure that they do wrap around on the border side of Canal Crossing. It is very key because if the Allies do give this up, it's a straight shot into the hard cap. So not blame the Axis for maybe dedicating one too many bodies up in the north. It is, slow pickings, just trying to get 1 or 2 kills, move up a little bit, making sure their OP stays up. NC can maybe go opposing SL. I'll look like and we'll take him down. Looks like another body himself, possibly a 3rd body, but we fly away. Does get taken out from Rogers. Back a little bit more south. Dark having a lot of good plays, a lot of good OPs. Vector will take out Lucas, battling a few more players from the Axis by the main factory building of the map. Do look to take church control within the final 20 minutes of the game. Each team are reaching 1,500 kills each. The kill disparity starting to go a lot more towards the Axis favor. Over 70 kills in the Axis favor. You know, in the whole grand scheme of things, that isn't a lot of kills, to be completely honest, but the only event it is a lot. It is. Big trade there from Edgy and Chopper. On board with Za. Does hold this main 3-story building. Kind of sees Divinity, not really. Divinity camping. Actually, we'll go on board with Divinity, see what he's up to. Camps by this, this statue of a woman. We'll just stay here and see how long Divinity moves. Honestly, it's a nice little sightline that he is holding. As a half-track. Virgin is driving a half-track into the hard cap. Probably will call it out that there is a half-track running, as LaBerge does get to the half-track gunner seat, but does get taken out from Divinity, as Divinity is camping behind a lot of head glitches. Not sure if this half-track is locked out from Mahojo or not. I assume it probably is. Mahojo does go flying across the street. Don't think any sort of bombing run or airhead is called in, as the satchel does go off into the 3-story building. Divinity does get taken out by Edgy or some other player. So this could be a very interesting play here from the Allied commander, having a half-track pretty much out in the open. As Solar, Bearju, and a few others come from behind. Constantine and Cornbread trying to watch the back. Constantine making sure that does not happen, as he does have his back. No Rocketeers in sight. A few do spawn off the half track. 5 or 6 or so. USCGs do go off. Multiple people from the Axis trying to close in. Mojo with a flamethrower, tries a flamethrower falsely. I don't know what is going on. Teku on top of the truck as he does get flamed down. Mojo just kind of shooting the flamethrower randomly. Does get falsely with the flamethrower. Mojo's plan and strategy is going forward. He does hold this common area where players do tend to hop into. Oh my god, is he gonna like... are they gonna camp the spawn? Oh my god. That track does get blown up by a rocket. Players do fall. Baked. Baked, Baked gets killed by Mahojo's plane. But actually, a lot of the Axis do get called back to the hard cap. North kind of exposed between Town Center and Canal Crossing, so within the final, 15 minutes or so, advantages could be made, as looks like is our control of the church sector itself. Constantine having this critical OP, Divinity and Baston the two that are running it for the time being. The very critical OP defense. He will throw a grenade. Nice little grenade there from Infinity. Will get the OP, but will get killed in the process. And Bates will clean up that kill. So just Constantine and Waffen. Essentially against like 5 or 6 Axis players. Constantine going to try to set up another OP. Does set up himself up another OP. Just to keep this cap pressure on the front door and presence established. As that distraction does continue to commence. A few more players who seem to be north from the allies. And see that little sector of the E5 basically under full control of the allies. And the south now, obviously we haven't been too much in the south this entirety of the game, but still critically important. If they can start, you know, establishing, you know, poking and prodding like 1 or 2 bodies up in the north just to get some crossfire, just to maybe dedicate the Axis, you know, 3 or 4 bodies out of sector, that's go a huge way. Especially in the last 13. Riley and Freaky spawning up this OP. Percocet, or whatever how you fucking pronounce your name, I have no idea. Gets both of them and will wipe out the OP, so good play from him. Wipe out that most southern OP. Still a garrison. I don't think they do know. Oh man, that's honestly a very odd place to place a garrison, but it does work out in their favor. As they will establish their OP right back up. 4th point camp progress has started. It's just pretty much due to 2 people, 3 people in the sector. Nothing too much to worry about. To be honest, they can just call back all of defense onto the hard cap pumping station. As the absolute terrible frame rates of console hell loose do kick in, and oh my god, that is terrible. I don't know how bad it is. Look at this. It just looks terrible, boys, girls. Not look smooth at all. Now it's smooth. STG. Very difficult place to push up if you are the allies, or even Axis, really. This is very difficult, you know, 30-40 meters that you do have to push up. But 4th point camp progress just getting a little bit overwhelming for the allies. Multiple people do fall back for the allies. All they need to do is honestly touch the sector and they will start defending, which they do. All they need to do now is get a few kills, and they do get 1, and oh, but they do start to drop a little bit of bodies, and that is going to start the cap progress back. Never mind, it's not. Defense will hold for the time being for the allies. That is the power of having just 1 or 2 people in the hard cap. Now, if you get a few more people onto your OP in the hard cap, it does force a little bit of a reset there for the defense, for the attacking team onto the third or 4th point. Looking at the map yet again, there is another random half track. Just chilling here. Honestly, looks like a part of the map, to be honest. So, I'm not quite sure if this half track will be utilized in the final 10 minutes or so, if it is called out. Cornbread does die on top of it. Few people do spawn on top of it. Bear Jew is camping spawn. Arrow the last one, defending that half track. So Bear Jew get out. Take down Arrow. Find out Arrow going to the 3rd floor, 2nd floor. Locking it out. Will hop out. Will kill Bear Jew. You know, himself from Goose and Munchy Squirrel, so it looks like the half track is probably good as gone, but Cornbread and company trying to help defend it. I do personally think satchels are a very cheap way to get kills and destroy things. This game should pretty much only be rockets, but it is infantry only, so what do I know? I'm not playing in this thing, I'm just gassing it. I think rockets should be the way, force people to switch classes, use the car, because I think car is the most skillful weapon. And now goes that half track to the rocket, and boom goes the dynamite with that satchel. Hard cap is pretty much all seized by the allies, making sure they are under control at pumping, but town center not looking too good in these final 8 minutes of the match. Pretty much sobered up now at this point. I am normal awake state, 80%-ish, not really. I have no idea where I'm at. Kind of cloud 9. Watching people shoot mines at this point. $3,000 fuel for the allies. I'm not sure. Try that one. Up and in. Absolutely no front door presence for the allies at all. There's just nothing there. They could just, you know, rebuild a garrison front door and push off that front door garrison, but and it does not look like they are going to do so. I'm very surprised by that. I honestly do wish that they do have a front door garrison, because it is going to force them to hold front door a lot more, and it's just going to make them a little bit more chaotic. So I do love this back end pressure that they do have from the north and the south, but they do need something front door. They do need to wipe out this garrison and this OP. If they do that, they probably can't have a chance in the last 5 minutes. As it stands right now, if they don't do that, it's not going to happen. I think it's going to end in a 3 for the Axis. But, you know, anything can happen. You know, if the Axis decides to not shoot back and use medics and flamethrowers, you know. So we do have 1,800 kills and almost 1,800 kills for both teams. Parity of about 89 kills or so. Take here and there. God, Carentan is so bad with frame rate. Holy. Spartan. Spartan will shoot him through the building. Nice little IQ there. You play there from Spartan. Final or fourth point listed. North as Airhead is called in from the Axis in the final 5 minutes. So they are looking to end this in a 4-1 at least. Aggressive Airhead play. Garrison is down for a frontline push towards town center. Monic Garrison push as he's fighting in. I would like, honestly, an Airhead play behind this hedge. I think this hedge would be a very key area, and that's kind of something with map now. Airhead, not where it's going. Oh, it looks like it's gonna land in a perfect spot for the Axis. Not sure who the commander is for the Axis. This is a very nice airhead play. Holy, that is very, very key. This is going to be very interesting. Now, how many bodies do you dedicate for this airhead play? You know, this would be very bad if I was muted this entire stream, but I don't think I am. But we're over an hour and a half into airhead. Airhead is coming down for the allies now. Only one person spawns on this airhead. That is very odd, if I'm being completely honest with you, because now Town Center is tested. So don't think we are going to get any more spawns onto the Axis airhead. Master Yoda will get the kill, so a cap race might be into effect, as a bunch of people do battle for that border for the allies and Axis. As a whole bunch of people do spawn on the airhead for the Axis. Like 9 or so bodies do spawn on to that airhead on that second wave. A few bodies do spawn on the backwards garrison for the allies. So a cap race has commenced. I think a slight advantage for the Axis. As now a full confirmed advantage for the Axis as defense has started onto the midpoint. Airhead is still up and running. It looks like Swanky might be spawn killing it, or it looks like Bastogne is spawn killing it. Not entirely sure. Yes, he is spawn killing. He is spawn killing it, possibly. Maybe just waiting for a body or two to spawn off it. Probably does not have grenades, but Looter will get the kill on to him. So airhead completely clean. Lincoln, Goose, remaining bodies, but the desperation at pumping station as more bodies do spawn on top of that airhead. Bomb run is coming down. I'm not quite sure where the bomb run is coming down. Looks like it is going to be a possible defensive airhead for the Axis. I'm not quite sure if that is a defensive or offensive airhead. As it looks like this will be an Axis cap with multiple SLs and bodies into the hard cap. More bodies do spawn off of this front door garrison, but more bodies spawn off the fucking airhead. Not quite sure. Reinforce is down, so if only, honestly, if you know, if they get like 4 bodies into the hard cap, they could actually defend this. Unfortunately, they are not winning any of their gunfights, and no one is redeploying, but it looks like all of the allies are redeploying. This will probably end into a 4-1 for the allies, or the Axis. Probably will. I have no idea if the ticker will work, but it is impossible for it to be anything else than a 4-1. So congratulations to the Axis in this random ass infantry only event. I have no idea what to call it, but we'll slightly go through the names of all the players. So JPL finished 89 kills for allies. Their top frag, probably 90 or so when said and done. Scroll through all these names to get through this match. I want to thank you all for watching. I have no idea why you were watching random Wednesday night at 40 my time. 42 players currently for the allies. Don't know why we are starting with 11 Mojo. Not 100% accurate because the top frag in this probably happens. Also probably 95 himself towards the end of this game, unless people do not decide to redeploy, which people are not redeploying. Find them. All these names. Update. Damn it. 39 players did play for the. Again, thank you all for watching this random Wednesday night infantry only stream thing. I have no idea what to call this thing anymore. This event thing. Infantry only. No tanks, no arty, just a little bit different style of play, but focusing on a fragging. So Nexus, better one. And thank you all for watching, and also happy Thanksgiving to all of you people out there who do celebrate Thanksgiving. It's a fun game to stream. I wish I can commend myself because I think I did best. That's not the case as the charity side of things. A little bit of handicap there, but anyways, thank you all for watching. Games coming up next week. I think we do have one TPL game scheduled for this weekend. That is the SCC versus ITL, the Italian game. I think that's at 5 a.m. East. I'm entirely sure. If you happen to be out and about and willing to watch that match, be sure to look out for that one. And in other case, thank you all for watching. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night and week. Take care. Bye.